Hello, hello. Happy Tuesday or whatever day it is when you're listening.
Yes.
It's Monday for us right
I
now.
was like, did you really have to think about what that was? What you were
Yes,
gonna say? Yeah.
yes, I always do though. I don't
Yeah.
know if that's like the blessing and the curse of being an entrepreneur. I don't know if this is true for you too, but for me, I never know what day it is.
Oh, I
Like
always know.
whenever we have a call with clients or like a group or community or whatever, I'm always like happy. And then I'm like, wait, what day is it?
Yeah. I do not have that problem because I like brain off end of workday Thursday, So
I don't
you don't have that ability.
I don't have that life, and that's okay. It's not a negative. It's just a neutral. It is what it is,
Well, that's why
right?
you're an entrepreneur and I'm not, because I don't have that skill to just keep creating. I'm just like, oh no, my work week is done. I'm gonna go be with my family now. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go be different Emily as opposed to work Emily. And they're very different people. So,
Yeah, whereas me, like, it feels fully, like, intertwined and integrated. Like, I could be
yeah.
I'm at a softball game for the kids, and I'm like, "Oh, I gotta remember that idea." I'm, like, jotting something down in the middle of a play, you know?
Yeah. No, there's no thoughts in my brain outside of like, I wish
I
my
know.
kid could throw harder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah, you're focused, you're
I'm
present,
just
which
I'm where I am.
I really love that. I think I've gotten better at being where I am over the years, but there's definitely like blending and
Yeah.
sometimes you just can't stop it. And I'm okay with that. I always like to say that I don't work like full-time hours, but I do work weird hours
You
because
work all the time. But like
I
you're
also
always working.
because of my brain, not because I'm actually
Yes.
like sitting at a
Totally.
computer
That's what I mean.
working.
Yeah. You're
Yeah,
never
yeah.
like switching gears. Like, so that means you're like, yeah, Saturday. Like when you said like on our team call, you were like working with Claude on a Saturday night. I was like, ooh, girl, get a life. Like watch a movie.
Literally get a life, yeah.
Like not, I mean,
But
because
that
I'm not
also
there.
means, like yeah, like, that also means that, like, sometimes on, Tuesday morning, I'm going golfing.
Right. And like to be fair, I could do the same thing because of how we're structured. Like
Yeah.
I also could go golfing on Tuesday if I
Yes,
wanted to
you
work
can.
Saturday.
Yes, you
Like
can.
I'm allowed to do that. And the most employees are not allowed to do that.
Yes.
As long as
Yes.
I appropriately don't impact clients or whatever, like
Yeah,
I'll be
like,
known to
and I
go meet a
can't do that
girlfriend for
either, right?
lunch.
Like, don't get me wrong, like, if we have client calls that day,
Yeah.
I'm not skipping to go golfing, but if I have, like, a open day or even an open morning or, like, I have the flexibility and so does my team, but that's why I'm like, I work weird hours and I give myself permission to work those weird hours because I am, sometimes on a Saturday going, "Ooh, like, this is exciting to me. I wanna dig into
Right.
it."
Yeah. Whereas I'm like, I'm digging into a tub of Haagen-Dazs. Like, I'm digging into this bucket of movie theater popcorn. Like, and
Yeah,
I think, again, it's just a neutral, but like, that's why you're an entrepreneur and I am not, because I am not wired that way. Like, I just do not have that spark that keeps like the
keep
endless well of like, oh, I'm just like, no, let me just do what I need to do to
and
like
then clock it off.
contribute to what I'm passionate about. And then let me switch gears
Mhm.
and let
Yeah.
me like disassociate for a while.
Yeah, I love disassociating. It's just so
Yeah.
hard for me to actually fully do it. But I have gotten better over the years. And it's funny, like the clients, like when they come to us, like really close, when they're getting close to this like unplug time, right? So a lot of times
Hmm.
in our work, we ask them to like, in order to get your team fully operating without you, we need you to step away. And in clockwork, we called it this 4-week vacation, right? This idea of taking this 4-week vacation. And they would come to me before the 4-week vacation and they'd be like, am I allowed to, like, think about work or, like, you
What
know
if I have an idea? Yeah.
if I have an idea, like, what do I do? Like, I'm a bad business owner if during my unplugged 4 weeks, how do I not have the ideas? And I'm like, "Oh, I don't
That's not what we're
actually
talking
have
about.
any advice for that."
Yeah.
Like
That's not what we're talking about because,
yeah, like, that's not what we mean, right? And
yeah.
actually, I usually am like, "Actually, you're gonna have a lot more ideas because you're fully unplugged from the day to day, the fires,
The grind.
monotonous decision making that you have to do in the, in the day-to-day operation that really isn't worth your highest value brain. And so when you're unplugged from that, similar to shower thoughts, right? Like you're gonna your brain is gonna start to think of better and bigger ideas. So not only do I not want you to try to not think about it, I want you to embrace it and know that like probably the longer you are unplugged, the more and better ideas you're going to have for the business. And that's okay. Just write them down, and then when you return, you'll have a place to put them, but you don't have to like fully stop. And I don't really know if there is a world in which entrepreneurs can fully shut it off. And I
No,
think, like you're saying, that's part of why you are who you are and what you
just
do.
see the world differently. Like everything is an opportunity. Everything is a way to build a business or like to fill a need. I don't see the world that way. Like
Yeah.
it's just not how I go about my life, So like, but it is how you go about your life, and that's what makes us. That's why only was it 93% of the world are or 7% of people are entrepreneurs, right? Like
Yeah.
the rest of us need jobs, so keep those ideas coming.
Right. Keep it coming because 97% of those ideas are also not great. So we
Right.
need to keep them going.
Yeah. Yeah, fair.
Keep them going and flowing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, I don't remember how we got on this conversation. What day is it?
What day is it? Yeah. But
And
it's good.
6.
It's a good conversation for us to be having because it really like seamlessly blends into our topic for today. And not that was by any way like planned or contrived. It was genuinely but I'm like, oh, this
Just
fits so perfectly into our conversation because over the years, like we've worked together for almost 10 years now. I have been by your side through, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, all of the
wild.
above.
Wild.
And I have often wondered because of my own personalities, like how I would process or how I would experience your side of the coin. I have often wondered, like, man, she must hate us or like she must resent like XYZ about like she's on this side of the coin and we're on this side of the coin. Or like, so and then I saw when you asked on your Facebook that question came up, like, have you ever resented your business? And I'm like, I have always wanted to know. And I feel like I have asked or tiptoed around this question over the years. And like your
Mhm.
answers have always been like, no, but like, I don't believe you because that's not how I'm wired. So now I'm going to ask you on the pod, like,
Yeah.
have you ever resented this business, which is still a baby? So previous businesses, the people on your team, because it's like completely, I'm not like, you can call us out. It's okay. Like I'm already assumed you do. So, and
So if I say yes,
if you say
we're
yes, you're just confirming my
just
already belief. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, what is that like? Because like I've said, like I am not wired to be an entrepreneur. The things that you can take on as normal, I could not. Like they would, ugh, my eyes would roll so far in my head, I wouldn't be able to stand it. So what's
Yeah.
it like for you?
I think it's a really good question because I think it's layered for sure. Like, there have definitely been times when I've felt resentment building. And I think that's the important part is if you feel resentment building, you have to do something about it very quickly before you get to the point where you hate everyone, you hate everything, you hate what you're doing, and it feels like there's no way out, right? Or like to reverse from that. And I've worked with a lot of clients who have gotten to that point of resenting the business or resenting the team. Usually they might resent the team because they feel like they're paying a lot of money and not getting the results that they want, or still having to redo work, or they're like, sometimes they martyr themselves and then resent the team. Like the team never asked you to stop paying yourself and only pay them. But a lot of entrepreneurs do that for a long time because like if financials are tight, they're like, I'm going to take the pay cut. I'm going to pay the team. And then they start to resent the team. And it's like, that's not fair to the team because they're not asking you to do that. But sometimes it feels like that's the only way through whatever dip that you might be going through or like pain point that you might be going through. But yeah, I think I've like, just to answer transparently about me, because I could talk about clients and their stories all day. And like, that's what we try to help them out of, because I think as soon as you start losing the connection to why you started the business, or what you like, the thing that you wanted to do when you started the business, which is very common when you start a business and then more and more work comes, and then you get further and further away from the work that you actually enjoyed doing, right? And that's what happens to a lot of people's joy, is that it like slowly starts disappearing, and then they start to resent, like, why do I even do this? I don't even get to do the thing that I love. And for me, whenever I start to feel the resentment, I have to really get clear on why I'm feeling that, and then like what shift do we need to make, right? And I'm usually pretty good about making hard decisions in those moments to make the shift, to make sure that I still love what I do, because if I don't love what I do, it comes through pretty quickly, pretty clearly, and then that energy feeds into everybody else, like the team, the clients, the community, my family, like if I don't love what I'm doing, usually I'll have a conversation with you. And you have had these conversations with me of like, hey, I think you're not like loving what what we call like your mix of the things that are on your plate. So like, what do we need to get off your plate, or what do we need to reinvigorate, to keep it fresh or keep it fun? I have had, resentment, and sometimes that leads to letting certain people go over the years. Like if there are certain positions that I'm like, I feel like I'm paying them a lot of money and we're not getting the ROI. And usually
Mhm.
that hasn't for us had a lot to do with them or their personality. It strictly comes from more of a financial decision making point,
Yeah.
you know? Just as a business owner, I'm like, if I'm stressing over this, it's because I don't feel like it's maybe the direction the business needs to go, or is there a different way to do this with less resources? And so if I feel that resentment energy coming in, that's when I need to do some like digging and self reflection and figure out, what do we need to shift or change? But not in the sense that like I'm just bored with the business, because I think people do this quite often, self included, of like, oh, I'm bored. Let's completely change what we do or overhaul what we do. And that's also a really big trap that entrepreneurs fall into. Like when we were doing our best in business, it was because I really made a clear commitment, and we as a team made a clear commitment that like we were going to lock in on one offer, and we were going to promote the heck out of that one offer, and we were going to do it to our best ability, even if we got bored of it, because that, like, sure, there are other ideas, but that's the way to build much more quickly, right? Is like to be known for this thing, to be able to dial in and make this one thing better. And I see a lot of people, maybe they're feeling resentment already, or maybe they're just feeling boredom, and I would differentiate between those things and try not to make huge business decisions just based on boredom, because maybe your business, maybe it's good that things are boring if it's working, right? Like if something's
Yeah.
working and it's making lots of money and it just feels a little boring, figure out ways to liven that thing up, not to like totally switch gears and start doing something else just because that's probably like a trauma response too, like, from childhood, of like, oh, I need like stress energy or something.
Or we're all addicted to dopamine hits, so we're all like, it's like, just be bored. Also, just be bored. Be bored and rich.
Be bored and rich. That's the goal.
Like,
I love being bored and rich. And
be bored
then
and
I
rich.
love like creating entertainment for myself outside of the business, because I think it's
Yeah.
really easy. If you feel resentment towards your business, I also think there is something to look into as it relates to um how you're viewing the business and what you think the business should be giving you, or you know filling for you. I think this is really relatable to relationships, and how
Yeah, I was gonna say.
sometimes we think like our partner should be meeting all of these different needs that we have. And that's really unfair, I think, to put onto one person. And I think it's also really unfair to put all of your needs and think that your business should fulfill all of those needs. So it's like maybe your business just needs to be really boring and make you really rich. And then you need to go look for fun or entertainment or love and appreciation in other areas of your life, with other people or with other outlets. whether that's hobbies or personal projects or fun, like, because I think we try to, as entrepreneurs, like, well, I think this also happens because we turn our entire lives into the business.
Mhm.
And it has to give us everything, right? Because
You have nothing else.
we have nothing else. We destroyed our hobbies. We have no personal interests. We haven't talked to our friends in a long time. We haven't made them a priority. So, like, when you're trying to run back to them, it's maybe not working.
Mhm.
You've probably prioritized the business over even your romantic partner or whoever your life partner is, right? And maybe that's even deteriorated over time. And so, like, you've made this business your everything. And if it doesn't work, then who am I without it? And also, like, how do I make it fill all of these needs that maybe these other areas of my life should be filling, but I haven't made time for all of those things? So, how could they? How could they fill those needs? So I think that's something to explore as well, is like, where have I made this business everything in my life, right? I don't even know who I am or what my identity is outside of this thing. And I'm not getting fulfilled in other ways. And therefore, I need so much more from this business than it actually should be providing for me, you know? Does that make
Mhm.
sense? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
it's
absolutely.
trying to get it to, like, fill every bucket instead of just
Yeah.
the 1 or 2 that it's actually meant to fill. Financial and purpose, maybe,
Yeah.
you know?
Maybe. Maybe not.
Yeah, your business doesn't even need to fulfill purpose in my mind. Like, for some people, it does. But this is a question that a lot of people, I was talking to, a young entrepreneur a couple weeks ago, and they were talking about passion and finding their passion and the things that they're passionate about. I'm like, "Dude, from what I can see about you and from what I know about your personality, you are entrepreneurial." Like, he is, right? Like, he's entrepreneurial. I'm like, "You're passionate about turning your ideas into a business and making lots of money from that idea." I was like, "I don't think you're actually passionate about the specific idea." And I was like, "And I don't think that that matters." I
No.
said, "I think there's a lot of people who will tell you that, like, yes, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life, right?" And, like, that's true for some people. And for other people, like, if you're passionate about the, the ideas as an entrepreneur and making money and like the business, you're passionate about business, you're not necessarily passionate about the specific industry or business that you're in. I don't think that that actually
Yeah.
matters.
I think a lot of people are passionate about what they can do with money, which is great. I think a lot of people are passionate about the results that being rich can bring to them in terms of, like, if that allows you the freedom to do charitable work or donate to your favorite causes or build generational wealth for your family, like, great. We've had
Yeah.
clients before that they're like, I don't really like, I'm not all about this business, but I'm all about what this
What do you
business can
think?
bring to me.
Yes.
Yes.
What it can
I think that
provide for
that's great.
me,
I
my
also think
community, the world.
more people just need to be honest about that, you know?
Yeah, 100%. There's no shame in that in my
Yeah.
mind. I'm like, cool. Like,
Also, like, we live in
you're
a
still
capitalistic society, so yeah, we're all passionate about making money because we need it to survive.
more
Okay.
than ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and I don't think there shouldn't be any shame around that. So if you're feeling like,
Ugh,
I
I'm
don't know,
not, like, solving world hunger. No.
be
The
like,
people who
"Oh, but
have
if
the
you make
money
a
aren't
lot of
even
money."
solving world hunger.
I know, but if you make a lot of money, you can work on that. And that for me, actually, like, when I was first, it was probably my first 2 years in business. There was a lot of, like, I was just first starting to navigate the business world, and I was making multiple six figures. Like, this was my 2nd year in business. I was making multiple six figures in my business, and I had just started to get involved with a nonprofit that I'm still on the board of to this day,
Love
the
this
Adventure
nonprofit.
Project. I've gone to Africa with them. I'm, like, super involved in their board. Like, they message me all the time for support, questions. We donate, like, but I was, like, starting to get involved in that part of my identity, right? Like,
Mhm.
I felt like that was something that I wanted to be able to utilize the business for, was giving away money. I was like, but I saw, so at this time, I was like 2nd year in business. This was probably like 20, long time ago in internet years. And there was a lot of people talking about, like, oh, in their marketing and messaging, like, oh, you shouldn't just be making like 6 figures. You could be making 7. And I was just like, what is this greed? Like, I didn't understand because I was
Mhm.
coming from, a world in where I made dollars, when I first started, like I'm making really good money at my corporate job for what I thought was really good money at my corporate
Especially back
job.
then.
Back then in 2014,
Yeah.
2013, I'm happy with that, right? Very happy. I lived in middle of nowhere, Alabama. So like I didn't need $85,000. I was able to pay off all my student loan debt because of my business and my career. And so I didn't really need to like I felt like I didn't really need to live more than what I was living in terms of like I don't need
Mhm.
another car. I don't need this massive home. Like I'm like I kind of got my needs met, right? Like felt pretty good about what I was making. I was like now I love serving my clients. I have additional, income for investing both in myself and in financial things, whatever. So I felt like this messaging was so greedy. Like I didn't understand. I was like, who needs to make 7 plus figures in their little business? And I also was, I think, oh, my little business.
Yeah.
Even that is like downgrading my own thoughts at the time, or that this business could be more than just like a lifestyle business where I support myself. Like it could be something that more people were impacted by. But at that time, I did this visualization, and during the visualization, I realized that one of the things that I really wanted to do was be able to give away millions of dollars a year to organizations like the Adventure Project. And I wanted to be able to like write those checks easily. I was like, I wanted to just be able to give. I felt like I had a gift in okay, I'm really good at making money, clearly. Like, I know how to do that in my business. I know how to serve people with a service that then earns me money, that then supports them. I felt really good about that exchange and I was making good money. So I was like, wow, I can give money away to these organizations. But if I want to be able to do it at the level that I really want to do it, I have to be making millions. If I want to give away millions of dollars a year, I need to be making tens of millions of dollars a year annually. And that like really unlocked something for me because I think that my vision was, only as big as I was allowing it to be at the time and not
Mhm.
recognizing that it wasn't just about me taking home a bigger salary. It was like, oh, but if I want to do that, right, and like make even a bigger impact, then I need to make tens of millions of dollars. And that's not greedy. That's actually in really big service of the impact that I want to make on the world that which is related to my business but not directly related to my business. So like you're saying like, "Oh, if you want to like, you know, solve world hunger or like whatever." And I always say like whatever there's so many causes that you could care about in the
So many.
world. Like we can't all be passionate about all of them and I think that's, important is that like whatever is important to it has to be important enough for you to actually do something about it, right? And so
Mhm.
find what those like one, two, three are and do something about it. But I felt like as entrepreneurs, one of the things that we could do about it is give our money to those causes because a lot of entrepreneurs want to like grow their business and then start their own foundation. And I'm like, don't do that. Like there's so many nonprofits already that do an incredible job. They're much more skilled at what they're doing than we are. They are the experts. Like the partner that I have at the Adventure Project, like she went to Columbia University, like she studied this stuff in college. She worked at what's one of the big water organizations. Anyway, she worked at one of the other like really big water nonprofits, spent a lot of time in third world countries and then developed her nonprofit, has been, developing her nonprofit for years and years and years. And so it's like, why would I try to start something and think that I could do it better than her when I could just be a conduit to give her money?
Mhm.
Like, let me just give you money and let me just pour back into you with my skills, not think that my skill is starting a new nonprofit? And so I think
Yeah.
that entrepreneurs really miss that sometimes as like maybe one of the things that is causing you resentment is you're not giving back in the way that you want to. You think you have to like do it with some big
Mhm.
project, or I need to get to this point before I can start a foundation or whatever. Like, no, just start giving away a little bit of money every single month.
Yeah. Just build it
Every,
in.
build it in.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been interesting over the last 10 years to kind of watch why like I said, I was like, I feel like I have lived seasons where I'm like, "Oh, I don't think that she's not loving it right now." And part of it is because we've gotten very close, and so I can read your energy and I can tell, like because from my side, when things are fun not when you're not like loving the business, I'm also like, I can feel it even like on a personal side because I am attached to the business as well, right? So
Mhm.
I'm like, I can tell. And one thing that I have had to learn, and I think, I mean, as of the time that this airs, we'll have just done like the power partnership class. Just we'll find a way for you to get access to a replay
Yeah.
or something because I know it's going to be
Well,
great.
if you wanna, like, if you wanna join VIP, it's $11. You can get access to that as well. We'll put a link.
Once
We'll
it's
figure
ready.
out
Yeah.
we'll figure out and we'll put a link.
Yeah. But one of the things that I feel like as being a partner to you in, not financially, but just like in this business is that if you are not having a good time, if you're not enjoying it, if the business isn't fulfilling you, like your personality is like you will just start to disengage.
Mhm.
And the more that I kind of like fight to kind of keep things status quo because that's my personality to be like, this is the plan, let's follow the plan. And then I watch you like drift away. Like ultimately, I just had to be like, this is ultimately her business. It's not mine. I don't get to make these calls. So if she wants to, if I need her to show up to her full self. So if we got to make this decision and like switch gears or find a way to like bring Adrienne back in and like bring the excitement back in, like that, that's just what
Like,
has to happen.
priority.
Even if it's
Yeah.
like me being like, oh my God, why are we doing this again? And that truthfully, even though before we hit record, I was like, I don't really have much to contribute because I don't resent. That's when I would start to feel that resentment is like, I've done all this work for nothing, you
Mhm.
know, because now we have to throw it all out.
Because I'm not lit up by that thing and we need to switch gears to
Yes.
the thing I
Yeah.
am actually lit up about. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's when I would start to resent things. It's just be like, it's like it doesn't even matter, you know?
Mm.
And I really had to be like, yeah, Emily, it doesn't matter because it's not my decision to make at the end of the day. The end of the day, Adrienne carries all the risk of this business. So she
Yeah.
needs to be the one who's like 100 million% on board. And if she's not, or if she's 100 million% on board in something else, and like that is truly where she feels called, that's what's lighting her up. That's the energy she's putting out and she's getting back. Then that's the decision. And that means nothing about me. So don't put it on myself to carry. And I think once I was able to like move through that, and I'm not going to lie, I might still vent to James and be like, ah, but then I'm like, but it is what it is, you know?
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
doesn't mean anything about me. It just means tomorrow I have to do something new, you know? So be
Gotta
it.
keep you on your toes. No, and
Yeah.
that's not intentional because I think a lot of times I fight with myself of like, okay, just do the thing, just do the thing, just do the thing. And then I can no longer fight the thing of like, this is not the right thing. Sometimes I just get to the point where I'm like, we're doing the wrong thing
Hmm.
from that energetic perspective, right? Like you're saying, because sometimes it's easier for us to just like, oh, let's rinse and repeat and do the same thing we did last time. And then like, sometimes that's true. That is the right decision. And other times, energetically, if I start to disengage or feel this pull elsewhere, I have to I have to listen to it at some point. Otherwise, everybody else suffers, including the revenue, right? And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
where do we need to like come back and renegotiate
Yeah.
with ourselves about like what is causing the resentment for anyone in the team, and how do we move through this? Because I think if you're feeling resentment in your business, there's a reason and you have to get to the bottom of like where is that feeling coming from? Is it
Hmm.
financial? Is it energetic? Is it creative? Like, oh, I'm not doing the things creatively I want to do. Is it that you have no joy left in your business because you're, spending your day with, answering questions for the team or fighting fires? Is it related to the energy of clients? Like there have been times when I've resented the business. I will, even if it's just for a day, because I'm working with someone that I shouldn't be working with. They're not aligned for where I'm trying to bring people, right? Or who I'm trying to work with. Like and
This
having
is a neutral thing as well. It's just energetically you're not a match.
right, or having really clear boundaries of like, oh, I'm not interested in working with people or I'm not a good fit to work with people who don't want to, become better leaders for their team. Like if you just want a revenue increase and you like don't actually want to improve the
Team
culture,
culture.
then we're not going to jive, right? Like cuz I could probably get you that result, but it's going to be a lot of friction for me and I'm going to be resenting the work that we're doing because I have a values rub, right? And this was true for me in the corporate world too. Eventually, why I left was not because of, money. It wasn't because of time flexibility or freedom, even though I have a lot more of both of those things in my business. I didn't have those things at the time, and I didn't know what the business would turn into. I just had a values rub. I was in friction with my values at that organization, and I could no longer do it anymore, right? I was like, I can't show up and do my best efforts for a company that we don't have shared values. So I'm like,
Absolutely.
this is a hard no for me, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah.
So I think that's probably where to start looking is like, where are my values being stomped on? Or even it might feel more subtle, right? Like, but usually resentment is building because your values are not being met or shared, whether that's shared with your team, shared with yourself and your business entity. If one of your values is freedom and you're completely tied to the business, like you are going to resent it, right? And so it's like, you start there and start unraveling those things so that you don't burn it all down, because that's usually what, I've had clients at that point. I've had colleagues at that point. I've had best friends who are entrepreneurs come to me and they're like, I'm burning it all down. And I'm like, do you really have to? Like, do you have to? Can we think about this first and see how we can salvage it? Because I don't think it has to get to that point, but it will if you let it build and build and build, just like in any relationship,
Mhm.
like you are in relationship with your business. And so it's like, where are the shared values? Not sharing,
Yeah.
not working.
So the big takeaways are values and communication, because you need to be able to talk about why this isn't working, and this needs to be a two-way conversation with ideally your team so that you can figure it out.
Yeah.
Because if you do start to resent your business, and then so it becomes so cyclical, your actions will change and then your team is going to start to resent you. And then now we're stuck in this like cycle of doom
Hmm.
that's never going to produce the results that you want it to or you need it to. So,
Yeah, because I think, like, for me, and I think for a lot of my clients, like, the tendency when you start feeling the resentment is to disengage or to disassociate or to focus on something else. So you might even be like, "Oh, I'm just gonna focus on this other project that lights me up.
yeah, I'm just going to do this like one-to-one thing, and we're all, okay,
I'm just gonna go over
great.
here and
I'm going to
build
promote
this.
this thing instead.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
Perfect.
do this, like, entirely different business." Or, "Oh, I have this hobby that I'm now turning into another business." And it's like, "Oh, but now you're ignoring the thing that you've built because you're
Yeah.
resenting it," which is not the answer, and
No.
your team can feel that and everybody can feel that. And it's just going to get worse if you don't address it. So
Totally.
don't let
So
those
yeah.
feelings sit for long. Investigate them.
All right.
If you have questions or you want us to support you with some business bossy advice, you can go to sortabossypodcast.com and you can submit a question or like, hey, this is a scenario, like would love your feedback. We live for your questions. And we had a big batch come through, and that's what we've been answering. But you can always submit, and we need to do a Dear Bossy. So
Soon.
soon, coming soon. We'll record that maybe next week. Okay. All right, friends. We'll see you on the next one.
Bye.